Johnny Vaughan.
Don't do things like that. Cynthia. Sorry, Sunta just... Hello, this is the podcast. Sunta just put us off there at the start. We're just doing the sound check. We're going, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, just to check the mics. Hello, hello.
And then Sunta went...
Oh.
With a
Why
very
did you do
unnecessary oh.
No, but it was really unnecessary and sort of threw us.
And aggressive.
Because we're doing this...
I was checking my
We're doing
mic
this
was on.
between songs at the end of the show.
When you check mics, you go choo, choo,
Choo, choo, choo. You must know...
choo, choo, choo. It's roadie, international roadie lingo.
Choo, choo, one.
Choo, choo, choo.
Is that the-
Choo.
Okay, this is what we did this week. We explored jobs for the girls. This week it was trucking. I can assure you we've got a bigger one on next week.
Yeah.
Next week's going to be massive. We've got a big name woman in a man's world. Lutterworth was our pet town. We hear from Benny, who got caught out singing along to Portishead.
Yeah.
We recreate the moment. He actually comes on air to sing. It's fantastic. It's great radio. I tell a few good stories, which I think you'll enjoy.
Loads of heroes of the day.
Loads of heroes of the day. And also an excellent mother-in-law that rocks. I think overall it's going to be pretty bash good. Anyway, here's the podcast.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
Sunta,
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen this story. I know you study the papers. But there's a spectre that threatens to haunt this Christmas.
Okay.
Shoppers could be faced with empty shelves in the weeks leading up to Christmas because of a shortage of lorry drivers.
Oh.
Really?
I say lorry drivers because I just drove down the A1 today from my mum's. And I saw no evidence of that.
So you saw a lot of lorries
I saw a lot of lorries, yes.
being driven by lorry
Yes,
drivers.
put it this way, I didn't think to myself, yeah, this road could do with a few more lorries. What this road needs, well, what the RHA, the Road Haulage Association.
The Royal Haulage Association.
The Royal Association of Haulage Workers.
By
Are
appointment.
you a member of the Royal Haulage Association? I certainly am. Now stand aside. Anyway, they say that they reckon they're short of 45,000 drivers.
Really? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I find that amazing.
Well, that's Stamford Bridge holds about just under 45,000. So
Yeah. It's a whole football stadium.
it's a whole football stadium, but full of lorries.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that, it was like something from cars, except lorries.
That's a lot of lorries.
It's a lot of lorries. But I just don't. Well, what I don't see is where they all fit.
Yeah, where are they going to
Where
go?
are you going to get another 50,000? I mean, I just never drive along and think, God, you don't see many lorries around these days. Do you?
The inside lane is just solid
It's
lorries.
just solid lorries.
All the time. You can't see the exits.
Solid lorry, solid. Yes, exactly right. Solid lorry, solid. It is, Gav. But they're saying the trouble is it costs £3,000 to get a truck licence.
Right.
And the government aren't helping people to enter into the trucking game.
Well, you just have to pay for it and you get one.
Well, no, that's about how much it costs to
Right.
train, and younger people now just can't afford it.
That makes sense.
So the government there should be like a truck driving apprenticeship,
They should.
other than what we call lorry children.
Lorry kids.
Lorry kids.
Lorry kids.
You know lorry kids?
No.
Oh, man, I always wanted to be a lorry. When I was a kid, I just wanted to be a lorry kid. They're those kids that during school holidays get to drive in Dad's truck and it just looks like a right laugh.
What, and sleep in the
And
little
they've got-
cab?
Yes, and they've
everything?
got a big fat dad, and they're much smaller, but they're still bare-chested as well on a hot day because they're a lorry kid, and they sit bare-chested with Dad. It's like railway children, but lorry children. Anyway, I would say I don't know, kids, if you're listening. When I was young, I sort of always envied not only lorry children, but just lorry drivers. They just looked like no one was hassling them.
Well, you should never cut up a lorry. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they've got loads of gears in those lorries.
Have they?
And if you make one put the brakes on, the poor guy's got to go down 20 gears and then start 20
Someone's
gears
telling me-
back up again.
Someone telling me how much it costs each time you walk out in front of a truck on a zebra crossing and they have to stop. It's like sort of £4. Just go and do all that thing. But the thing is, I always used to look at lorries and think, I don't know if you've ever looked like this, Sons. Not that you wanted to enter into the lorry game. It's kind of manly, but
I don't know.
isn't it? Do you see it as maybe that's the Yorkie
I don't
image?
see that there's any reason that only men can drive.
No,
I'm
they've
not,
got
I'm
power
just saying,
steering.
but it is kind of manly, isn't it? Lorry. If you heard someone's a lorry driver, what would you presume their gender was?
Long distance Clara, is that her name? Pigeon
Yeah.
Street?
Okay, fair enough. You done with that. But anyway, I used to look into the cabs. But pretty much, very rare you see lorry mums bare-chested in the sun.
That's right.
Anyway, I'll just start the record. But I used to look at them, and they'd have that sleeper cab, and they had no boss hassling them.
Yeah.
And it just all looked
Life on the road.
Yes, it's on
Adventure.
the road. There's something. There is I know they identify with bears and lone wolves, and cowboys and stuff.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
What I'm saying, Sunta. Okay, Sunta. I'm not saying, that it's purely for men. I'm just saying I perceive it as being there's a manliness of the trucker.
But there's no reason why a woman can't drive a truck the same way a man can drive a truck. There's no physical difference in us that makes that any more of a challenge for a woman than it is a man.
I'm not saying it is. I'm probably from the Yorkie generation.
Oh, good.
Yorkie and me rolling on.
And that says a lot.
And that said, yeah. Yes, well, that was probably a very long time ago. So I'm not saying it's not ideal for women as well. I'm just saying I consider that when I hear someone's a trucker, I do mentally think that's kind of a manly profession.
Right.
There's a manliness of the trucker. I'm sure when you meet a woman who drives a truck, there's a womanliness. Does that work?
Someone's texted us about it.
Okay, Johnny, we have 4 female drivers on our fleet who drive 40-foot Arctics all over the UK to a very high standard, but none have DAB in cabs, so say what you want. I'm just kidding. That's Simon Westwood Bleach of Vaughan Transport. Thank you very much indeed for that. No, I absolutely agree with you. I know a couple of female truckers. They're all right. I lied. Okay. Anything else do you want to say?
No.
Go on, have the last word. Otherwise I feel guilty.
Here we've got another text here, Johnny. I was a lorry kid. Now I'm a trucker. It's great. Tom the trucker.
Oh, I thought it was going to be from like Kate.
No.
Okay, let's move on. Anyway, they're short 45 to 50,000 drivers. I say get into it, get involved.
You could start a company on the back of that.
I could. What? With Radio X Trucking?
Yeah.
X Trucks. What, during the show, suddenly Sunta takes a call. Hang on a second. Hello, X Trucks. Yeah, where are you going to?
Yeah.
We just got a control office. Just doing a gav during the Hero of the Day and suddenly he just breaks off. Hang on a second, Vaughan, wait. Where are you, Dover? Yeah, pull over, Mick.
Yeah.
Just pull over, Mick. It'll die down.
Wait till the Arctic Monkeys is finished.
Yeah. It should be clear in about... Sorry, Vaughan, you were saying. That'd be superb if we were controlling a vast trucking empire.
And running a live radio show at
the same time.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
I had a text in earlier. This was after I read an article saying Christmas will be hit by the back of lorries, by the lack of lorries. Not Christmas is going to be hit by the back of lorries. That's surreal and bizarre, and Christmas doesn't exist as an object in that way.
And you'd hear it reversing.
Yeah, lorry driver backs into Christmas. Christmas crashes. Yeah, exactly right. Santa goes under wheel. No, here we go. Don't even think about it.
But you can always bash the back of Christmas and go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Shoppers could be faced with empty shelves in the weeks leading up to Christmas because of a shortage of lorry drivers, according to the Royal Haulage Association. They are 45 to 50,000 drivers short. This got Sunta and I into, it wasn't an argument, I would say. It's just I made a wrong presumption. It's kind of a manly, I've always perceived it as a kind of manly profession.
Yeah.
So I'm part of the Yorkie generation. But I get a text in. I run a driving agency. Although there are more men than women in the profession, I have more female HGV drivers registering all the time. Here come the girl. So let's welcome Faye, who runs...
Hello.
FX Recruitment in Essex. Hello, Faye. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Johnny. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I was just saying, did you when you got into trucking? How did you get into it? Was it in the family?
No, I basically got into it through recruitment. I started working in a recruitment agency and went into the driving side. And loved it and started getting on really well with the truckers and placing them out and finding them work.
When you say getting on really well with the truckers...
Sounds a bit wrong.
No, what was it about them you liked?
I love them because they're just so normal and down to earth.
Right.
I'm not allowed to swear, and I do talk with truckers all day, so I try and watch my language. But
Well,
there's no BS with them.
Yeah, there isn't any BS.
They're either happy or they're not.
Right, okay.
And I love them, and I look after them, and I treat them like people rather than like numbers.
They're more than just a truck.
They're more than just and they're more than just drivers.
Yes.
They've got really difficult jobs that they do,
And it's hell out there on the roads.
Exactly.
How long have you been doing it for?
About 10 years now.
Okay, would you say when you got into it, you thought it was sort of a quite a manly profession?
I would agree that 10 years ago there were definitely hardly any female truckers out there, although they definitely were out there.
There definitely were.
But
you've seen a change, haven't you, Faye? You've seen a bit of a change
definitely.
Okay, so what do you think is luring the female trucker in?
Do you know what? I think it's a fabulous thing. I love driving. I've got my provisional for my HGV license.
Have you?
Yes, I do. I'll do it one day when I get round to it.
Will you? Have you sort of, having been around truckers, you're sort of dying to kind of try it out, right?
Yeah, I've driven an Arctic around one of my clients' yards.
Have you?
It's brilliant fun.
Okay.
And yeah, being out on the road all day, being able to listen to your tunes rather than listening to Heart when they've got it on in the office. You can
Yeah,
forget
right,
them
damn
on
right.
I mean, Radio X, sorry.
I hear you barking, baby. I hear you barking.
There you go.
It must be a nightmare.
Yes, exactly. So,
Oh, no, Radio
yeah,
X is
it's a
definitely the
brilliant
truckers
job.
channel. It's definitely the truckers
Yeah.
channel. Would you say, if
And
you're a
FX
trucker...
Recruitment, I have to say, is definitely the agency for any truckers listening out there. Anyway,
Well, I think
sorry.
we put the S in Essex now as well.
Yes,
Would
we
you
do.
say, though, that Radio X would be the first choice for truckers? Would you recommend that?
Oh, definitely. I highly, highly recommend Radio X for truckers.
And would you
listening
say
out there.
that's because it's a profession for men and women and this is a station for men and women?
I would now, yes.
Okay, good girl.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
I'm afraid there's another scandal at the BBC. This one...
What have they done now?
I know, I just think this is really bad. I'm not going to be a BBC basher, but this is bad.
Okay.
Wolf, wolf, cries the Mongolian camel herder as he spots a, quote, voracious desert predator.
A man-eating super wolf.
Yeah, man-eating super wolves. I love the addition of the word super in front of anything normal.
I know.
Particularly super wasps.
Especially on Discovery, yeah.
When you hear... The European super wasp waits for his chance.
It's just a wasp.
Oh, man. A friend of mine does those voiceovers. He says, honestly, some of the lines he has to do for nature programmes, you just got to put a line through them. Some of the crap they ask you to say, things like, Alaska smiles, its ironic smile. Stuff like that. The North Sea remains silent, giving up none of its secrets. Anyway, I'll get back to this, sorry. He goes, the voracious desert predator threatening his livestock. He and his companion quickly drop to the ground. They draw their rifles and they shoot at the wolf.
Yeah.
It's in this documentary as it runs away across the plains of the Gobi Desert. My gun was unsteady, says one, as the wolf dodges their bullets and speeds out of sight. It is a difficult animal. I wish I could catch it, his fellow camel herder replies. Thing is, a dog whistle would probably have helped. Do you know why? It was a semi-domesticated wolf. They just stuck it there to make it look real. It's just fiction.
So just a quick come boy.
Yeah. If they called it back, could have probably herded things in, herded them lunch.
So how did they find out that they faked that then?
They're
Was
just lying.
I wonder what else they could do.
Well, 3 weeks after the BBC admitted that it had broadcast faked footage of a volcanic eruption.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I like it if it's really 70s when they put it in there, so it's sort of slightly different colour.
Attenborough fights
Yeah.
unexpected Wookiee
Yeah, you
in
see-
new Life on Earth series.
Well, this is what I want to ask you. I mean, if they're going to start faking things up, what would we like to see?
Yeah.
Documentaries about? I think a Wookiee would be really good.
Brilliant. Everyone knows the animal.
The Wookiee finds itself. Just do documentaries about them. Here we see the Wookiee gently digging a hole to live in. Here we see the sun on hoverboards.
And if you look carefully, you see 4 little Ewoks
Yes.
doing a little dance.
I see what the great line is in all those documentaries.
What?
For now, the Ewok will go hungry. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They always do that if they fail to kill.
Unless the cameraman feeds him a Mars bar.
Yes. For now, she will wait. They love that line. Anyway, 83936 at Radio X. What would you like to see a fake nature documentary if they're going to do it? Let's go the whole hog.
Yeah.
I always wanted to get my dad's got 2 little King Charles Cavalier, things.
Puppies.
Yeah, I wanted to. I know, dogs. I wanted to return them to the wild from big cages. Just let them go. Go. And then right at the end of the documentary, you just see them still waiting for me in the car park.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
If you could make and fake up a documentary, a nature documentary about any creature, Gav, you're on Ewoks, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, I like an Ewok.
Sunta?
I think I'd like to see a herd of unicorns in its natural
Oh, the unicorn
habitat.
documentary. That'd be fantastic.
That's a brilliant idea.
Here we see the unicorn building up its magical charge in the stream of wonderment.
But they have to be careful because they get hunted by griffins.
Yes, because Griffin are everywhere.
Griffin are everywhere.
Yeah, Griffin are everywhere with a chance of Mothra. I'd like to see a documentary about the Oompa Loompas living in the forests of England. That's Daz in Watford. That'd be awesome, Daz. So much better than the real thing. We've sort of done nature now. It's just better photography.
I like Ed's one.
Go on, what's Ed
I'd
got?
like to see the mating rituals and territory battles of a gaggle of duck-sized horses.
Miniature animals.
Yeah.
Once, years ago, I had quite a big night, and I came into a breakfast show, and we were a bit stuck for a texter. And I said, I told the texter is, what miniature animal would you most like to have living on your head?
Wow.
Me, penguins, all the way. I'd like to have penguins playing around. The guy's working with Welshie, he said just like a rhino, just kicking round.
It's a small rhino.
The boss texted in and says, this is going to stop right now. But the thing was, we'd never had so many in. People, they love a miniature animal. I'd love to see Attenborough do a documentary on the Teletubbies called To La La Land and Beyond from Keith in Oxford. Most people have gone for fake Muppets. They're very popular. As indeed is Hunting for Haggis. David Attenborough.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
Biggest rip-off ever. I was going down to the beach. I was in this big resort. One of those resorts where you have to get like golf buggies to the beach because it's miles.
It's like a Bond villain's lair.
Because you're so far away.
Yeah.
And you got to plan everything in advance, like for the commute. Yeah. And make sure you've got everything for the beach. It's like, I don't believe I forgot my book. Oh, no, I've got to go back. That's like the morning gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I forgot my swimming shorts. When the kids were ready to swim, I'm thinking,
I'll quickly go and buy a pair.
I'll just go and buy a pair. I'll
Right.
nip to the shops, I'll buy a pair, it'll be fine. And I've gone in this in the shop. And they've got those kind of Vilebrequin ones that are a rip-off in Britain. I've looked at them and I said, I've looked at all these things. They're the only ones they've got. And do you know what? It's my first day. Rather than make the journey, I do sort of need some new ones anyway. I figure I'm going to be wearing them every day for 2 weeks. It should be fine.
Yeah.
So I look at it. It says, I say, excuse me. I say to the woman, I say, excuse me, what are these going for? And she goes, and she looks at the price thing. She goes, 89. I'm thinking, well, that's all right. They're sort of 79 quid in Britain.
Yeah.
So 89, actually, I'm doing well out the euro here.
Expensive, but they're not too bad.
Expensive, really expensive, but you wear them for every, I'm going to wear them for a few years. I think that's all right. It's quite a rip-off, but there you go. It's not Speedo, is it? Anyway.
Thank God.
Because I haven't got my glasses on, yeah, I look at them, yeah, £4.89.
He deliberately...
489 euros.
Yes.
Yeah. I say, what are these going for? She goes, for 89.
She did that on purpose. She paused.
She paused, Gav.
She paused.
She
It's
paused.
the pause that just wins, isn't it?
For
Did you actually pay that?
I'd already done it. Then I tried to take them back. I complained. I said, I obviously don't want a pair of swimmers for 489 quid. And I used language stronger than that. She goes, we can't take it back now. You like swum in them. And I can see what they mean.
Yeah.
You can't just stick
Yeah,
it back
yeah.
on the shelf. Then she goes, but it's all right. They're limited edition. They're the only ones.
Yeah, who cares?
They're the only ones. And the thing is, I only bought them because they were kind of horrible. I thought my kids always really wind them up. They were so orange with these purple pelicans on. Pelican, hey? So see the pelican fly, eh? And so I've worn these things. And no, it gets worse than that. I'm walking back to this is 2 days later, I'm walking in my unique shorts.
Yeah.
And there's loads of Russians at this resort and Ukrainians. And there's this Russian guy standing there. His missus turns around and goes, excuse me, please, is it possible to take a photograph of me and the husband? It's his birthday. He has new shorts. And he's got some new shorts. I turn around, he's got the same one!
Oh!
I know! There's two of us!
Two
We're going
mugs.
to be the only ones! And I'm actually taking a photograph and going, for, Ferdinand.
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
I was looking at birthdays today in the Times just because I find that section of the newspaper quite interesting because it's just below nature notes, which is always quite twee.
Yeah.
And it's always quite good if I'm going to be discussing anything with my parents.
Right.
If you know a bit about nature, it sort of really puts you in the old loop.
You can gen up on it.
You just can't. Did you say gen up? As a 70s abbreviation for the general information? Yeah, listen, telex me the gen.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, nice. Very good. But anyway, it's a very helpful little column, that. But I just wonder, people say they can always tell what star sign you are. Okay, well, here you go, right? Today's birthday it is Glenn Hoddle and John Cleese, right? Now, they're really not...
They're not similar people at all, are they?
I'll say my favourite Glenn Hoddle word. Players.
Fruitation.
Yeah, I've spoken to the players themselves, a lot of the players. Players. Just say it if you're in your car, just go, players. Also the players themselves. Anyway, John Cleese, Simon Le Bon, Kelly Osbourne, Evening Standard Square, A.N. Wilson.
They're all Scorpios, are they?
No, they're always their birthday today.
Right.
Vanessa May, yeah?
Yeah.
And Admiral Sir John Keir. Now, if you've seen Vanessa May and Admiral Sir John Keir, they wouldn't say, don't tell me you're both Scorpios. There's nothing in common with them whatsoever. You couldn't have seen that one coming. So I'm just saying, I'm not sure it's true.
Radio X. Johnny Vaughan.
X.
Scientists use the Force to create a real-life Star Wars tractor beam.
No.
Yes, Gavin, yes.
A real tractor beam.
Yeah, tractor beams generally get a bad press. I didn't know that, but that's how they started the Times. Again, oh, not tractor beams. I'm sick of them. I am sick of them. I got an article in the papers the other day, and I agree with it. Little John was banging on about it.
Yeah, but is it a tractor beam that can pull 1 grain of sand 1 millimetre?
No.
Or
Gav.
can it pick up a car?
Cynical, Gav.
No, I mean, I'm interested. Can it pick up a car and throw it at a building?
No, it can pick things up.
Can it?
It can actually pick things up and nudge them.
Can it?
Yes.
Nudge them.
Nudge
Hang
them
on.
slightly.
No. It's going to be like having a remote control, literally. Like you can change the telly, but instead of that, you'll have it in your hand, and you can just literally turn the kettle on at a distance by just nudging it.
That would
then
be
you
great.
can lift the cup and bring it.
It's
in
a
on
remote
the
control
tractor.
for life.
Yes, it's like a beam. It's like a tray that will lift it.
It'll be on your iPhone, won't it?
It'll soon be on the iPhone.
It'll be on your iPhone.
Thanks for
No need for stair gates.
Thanks for piddling on my chips. I thought it was going to be something separate.
You could stop your toddler falling.
Right! Yes,
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like having a very long broom handle.
With a lasso on the
It's not
end.
so much a lightsaber. It's a light broom handle.
It's a crooked-handled walking stick.
Yes, exactly right. Do you know what? I once had talking of lightsabers, I once thought I had burglars in the garden. Have I told you this story?
No.
I once thought I had burglars in the garden
Yeah.
at home. And I was like looking outside thinking, I know they're out there. Oh, good music, thanks. And I was looking outside. And I'm thinking there's burglars out there, right? And the only thing I had to grab was my son's Yoda lightsaber, which we've got, a collector's edition.
Did you
Did
you light it up?
So I lit it up in the garden, and I was like that. And I thought, if there's burglars out there, maybe they'll just laugh and go away.
Yeah.
And I suddenly thought, hang on. What if suddenly one of those double-ended ones comes
Oh,
up?
yeah.
Oh, no.
Like Darth Maul has.
Yeah.
Sith.
What if the burglar also has a double
The
lightsaber?
burglar was a Sith.
And then another one came on, a blue one, and they're all in the garden like, yeah, we're up for that. We're the lads. Anyway, it didn't happen.
It was a squirrel.
It was a squirrel. Turns out it was a fox.
Very aggressive.
Just a fox with a miles better sex life than mine. Man, I don't know what his technique is, but he should bring out a manual or something. Seriously. I don't know what they do.
He's brazen, that
But
fox.
those vixens, the noise. You're just thinking, wow, what a performer. You're expecting the fox to come out with like scratches on his back, sort of flexing like, that's what I put in, 40. Get with the programme, son. Yes, lovely, terrific night.
Johnny Vaughan.
Radio
X.
Radio X.
Hello there, have we got Benny in New Malden?
Hi, Johnny. How are you?
Not too bad, Benny. How are you, matey?
Very good, thanks. Yeah.
Okay, now, Benny, you texted in to us about an incident that happened in traffic. Now, tell us, what were you singing along to?
Glory Box by Portishead.
Okay, you were singing along to Glory Box. So tell us, Benny, you were singing Glory Box in traffic, and what happened?
I just got to the chorus, specifically the line, "I just want to be a woman."
Okay.
And at that moment, I saw a van full of builders laughing their heads off.
Okay,
and pointing at me.
Okay, now do you think that the van full of builders were also listening to Radio X, and they knew what you were
I'm
doing?
not sure.
I'd
I'm
like
not
to-
sure. Do you know what?
Well, how about for the purposes of this, they were?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, do you know what? Let's just hear you sing it. Can we hear you sing that line?
Oh, really?
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay. I just want to be a
woman.
Very good. Really hitting those notes.
You really got the tone there.
Yeah, you really went for it.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
We asked you earlier about food you think deserves the McDonald's treatment. Gav, what have we had in? What have you...
James has given us a McCorm beef and hash, maybe even whack it in a bun. Brilliant.
We've had a McLamb roast, a McBoiled egg and McSoldiers.
McCorma.
The McToasty, it's nice.
McNachos.
McToad in the hole. McBlack pudding, says Carl in Basingstoke. Oh, no, he was McToad in the hole. Do you know, once I was on the way to Ireland on a plane, yeah? And these cheery Irish people are saying, as soon as I land, I'm going to get McDonald's. And they looked at me blankly. This Irish person says, Deborah Johnny, it's not called... it's not McDonald's in Ireland. I've gone, what? She goes, no, it's O'Donnell's.
That's
You're kidding me. I've said, are you kidding me? She goes, no, it's O'Donnell's. You won't get it, Johnny, you won't get any luck if you ask for McDonald's in Ireland. They won't even know what you're talking about.
O'Donnell's.
It's a Scots thing, it's O'Donnell's. I said, so what's the Big Mac? And her mate leaned over and went, it's called a Big O. Just go in there and ask for the Big O. But it's still fillet O fish. But it's chicken O nuggets. And it's a big O.
Oh,
yeah. Fillet O fish remains the same. So anyway, I arrived in Ireland. I've arrived in Dublin. And so I'm thinking, well, I do actually fancy McDonald's. So confidently, I've gone out and saying, I said to someone, excuse me, where is the nearest O'Donnell's? And I said, Dad, there's one there and there's two down the street there. I walked in, it's just a pub called O'Donnell's because literally the whole of Dublin is just O'Donnell's. I've gone in there, I said, I'm actually looking for the O'Donnell's. And I said, I thought this was like McDonald's. And they go, the guy goes, no, McDonald's is around the corner, it's around there.
it's just McDonald's.
It's just McDonald's. I said, no, I was told on a plane that it was O'Donnell's. And they laughed.
Oh, you'll
and
believe
they laughed.
anything.
No, but then there's such a good mob down there. They said, no, we shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry, Johnny, but someone's been pulling your leg there. Someone's been pulling your leg. There is no O'Donnell's. It's just pubs. It's O'Donnell's. It's not happening to you.
So they wanted you to go into a pub and order
this other guy's just got to get him a pint, and that was it.
They had a pint.
No, but only in Ireland could they feel guilty that I'd been made to look a fool on a plane, that they now felt it was their duty to show that they're not like that. Get him drunk. Get that man drunk.
Radio X. Radio X.
This is a very quick news item for you. I love radical plans. I love radical problems, radical plans.
Okay.
Big problem, radical solution.
Okay.
Big problem, radical solution. And that's what these guys have done. Are you ready? What do they want to do to stop hundreds of car crashes every year? Now, you're having a meeting there.
More traffic control.
To stop loads of car crashes. Stop lots of people crashing into deer and foxes. Think about it. We're having a meeting.
Cameras.
Too many people are crashing into... cameras are like it, Gav. It's a nice plan. We've tried it in some parts, particularly in the north. It hasn't really stopped the accidents.
More signs letting you know you're entering a deer area.
Again, Sunta, it's a great idea. I'm going to put it on the board. Signs. We've had signs and cameras. But what else could we have?
More street lighting.
Street lighting. That's nice, Gavin. Let me put that down. We've got street lighting signs. Anything else over there, Sunta? Think outside the box.
Speed limits. I'd reduce the speed limits.
Speed limit. It's nice. It's not going to work because people ignore those at night.
More highway patrols.
Highway patrols. Could be. No. I tell you what we've decided to go with. We've decided to reintroduce links to the British countryside for the first time in 1,300 years.
What, the aftershave?
No. Nor the deodorant. That's what they said they're going to do. They're going to bring back the Eurasian lynx.
What, wildcat?
Yes.
Wow.
Which became extinct in Britain 1,300 years ago, and it could help control deer and fox population, eliminating 730 car accidents involving deer, including dozens in which humans would be injured. The return of the big cat would bring net benefits of 68 million quid over 25 years.
And think of all the wildcats spotted in the woods stories the newspapers
fantastic.
should show.
I like radical solutions like that. I don't know. I think zebra at zebra crossings.
Yes.
Just tethered there.
And pelicans.
Yes, and pelicans. Just to keep people thinking, slow down. I don't want to injure the zebra.
X. Radio X.
If you've got used to us now, you must get a lovely tingly feeling as you step into your vehicle. You know now, even if you've got a long journey home, you think, at least I've got the gang to keep me company. At least I've got the Woodman, Sunter and Vaughan. They're there in the warmth of my car.
Yeah. All around.
And you just thumb open a packet of Hamlet cigars.
Yeah.
Waft the cool smoke. What am I doing? It is worth leaving a cigar trailing in a car's ashtray, though.
Why?
Just because when you turn the heating up, if you stop to ask directions, it's just so much more expensive. The waft.
It's like a gentleman's
Especially
club
on a really
in there.
cold day. You just go, excuse me, I'm looking for the town hall. Excuse me, where's the opera house? And they just get a waft of, and you always play classical music. You just have a waft of cigar smoke and leather, which you spray. And it's just people are really impressed.
A driving cigar.
Well, it's a great way to hook a partner.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's how you get a really good partner.
It's better than wolf whistling.
It's let's have your hero.
Okay. The hero today, Johnny.
Has anyone ever pulled through wolf whistling? Has any woman ever turned around and gone, God, he sounds like a good guy.
Yeah.
God, I find that attractive. Okay, Gav, let's have your hero.
Okay, yeah, today's hero is the Satere Mawe tribe in
Why?
South America. Because we spoke about 3 or 4 weeks ago about the bullet ant.
Yes.
Which is the most painful bite and
It was
sting.
your hero ant.
That's right, indeed. And
That's
then
another hero.
I found out that this tribe, as a rite of passage for the young men,
Oh, God. Where do they stick him?
they somehow sedate the ants with probably some
Karari or something.
tree chemical or whatever, and then they sew them into these wicker gloves
Oh, man.
that the young men have to put on for 30 minutes.
A wicked glove. We know the bullet ant has the most painful bite of anything on Earth.
Of any ant.
Of any
yes.
ant.
Yeah. And it's a deadly toxin, but for somehow these tribe have got some kind of immunity. But it's a rite of passage, but that's not the worst part.
So they put the gloves on for 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Then they obviously cry, but they're not supposed to show any pain. That's the rite of passage.
Okay, can I just say, years ago I used to have athlete's foot, and when I was coming back from work on the tube, it must have been a similar joy when I used to be able to get my shoes off and be like, oh, God. But to get those gloves off, what happens next, Gav?
Then they have to do it 24 more times until they have fully ascended to the highest rank of the tribal hierarchy.
Hang on, wait, you've got to do it 24 times, the
That's
wicked
right.
gloves.
Yeah, awful. White hot pain.
Is that
in
they
your
describe
hands.
it?
That's what it's been described
But
as,
after you've
yeah.
done it once, it's the inevitability, isn't it?
Exactly.
You've worked as a chef. You know how
Yes.
things in the kitchen when you work as a chef are just routinely painful.
Yes.
Well, I used to do this when I worked in the kitchen. I used to have to put the potato skins, melt the cheese on them, and then position them round a basket.
Yeah.
But the fastest way to do it was with your fingers.
Always. And the very ends of your fingers
Yes.
is how you end up learning how to do it.
Yeah, and you know what? It just meant each portion was just 8 bits of pain. Ow, 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 ow. Each one. I just knew, I think, I don't know if I can do it again.
Well, I think the idea
12
is to
skins, John.
burn your
no.
hands,
Yeah.
build some blisters up, and
Yeah.
then it doesn't hurt so much.
And Gav, these was because it was the fat. So each one
Yeah,
you wipe it on your trousers. But God knows what the bullet ants were like. Gav, it's a great hero. Thank you very much. That was Gavin the Woodman Woods' hero of the day.
Radio
X.
Johnny Vaughan. Radio X.
First of all, I just want to clear the desk with this.
Yeah.
Just trying to explain. You know when you send a text,
Yeah.
whether it's on the iMessage or the green one,
Right.
it goes up, it goes whoop for a little bit, then it just stops like, yeah, I might send that bit. And then suddenly it just goes, no, I can't be bothered.
Some text missing
Or
is
it
what
just
the
says,
recipient gets.
Failed to send it. It's like
Yeah.
it just couldn't be bothered at the end. You're thinking, you did all that.
Like a lazy postman.
Yes. It just gets to your door and just ends up just sort of throwing it at the door and it misses.
Just a really...
I can't. Yeah, but what's going on there? With the technology, why does it go that far? To like 98%, and then it's just, you look at it going, send, come on.
That's why I don't have a smartphone.
And it's like a sort of download moment in those films.
They do that with the calls as
when
well.
they're waiting for someone to come in and catch them
yeah.
downloading, like in 24. You go, come on, it's on 98%, come on. Download tension. You hate that in films.
Or trying to watch football on the internet.
Yeah.
Just as your player cocks his foot to shoot.
Download.
You get the
Yeah,
little circle
man.
wheel going round.
No, but download
buffering.
tension. I mean, it saved a lot of 24. They think, what should we do here? Just put some download tension. Just download
It's actually
some-
really boring to watch.
Yeah. The other thing that amazed me as well is that this is with Born Identity as well, and also 24. Do they go to schools where they can like really handle SIM cards fast? Just the speed at which they can do it.
These tiny little
Yes.
fiddly things as well, aren't they?
With SIM cards. I mean, I bang on about this a bit, Gav, as you know, but when Apple launched that new SIM card and it was smaller,
Yeah.
Oh,
did
yeah.
anyone think, oh, great, Because that last one, I was sick of lugging that about.
Yeah, it was massive, wasn't it?
No, please, if they could just make this a bit smaller.
That's the bit they need to make smaller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really make my phone lighter to carry around as well.
Yeah, I'm fine if I've been lugging this around.
Yeah, the new ones, it's kind of like take the SIM card out of the new box.
Yeah.
Pick it up off the floor.
Yes.
Oh, if you've just dropped it.
Yeah. It's like looking for a contact lens.
It is. Yeah.
Seriously, we've lost a contact lens. No, my SIM card, actually. It just goes on the end of a finger.
That's right.
It's like you're already looking at those sort of pictures that used to be in the Guinness Book of Records of how small they can now make something. You've got to mess around. Jason Bourne, he can do that, like literally in a shootout. He can change it quickly, clone the card, do the thing, whack it back in. You're thinking, is there like a place that...
SIM card handling skills.
Yeah, SIM card... Right, listen in.
Like a dojo.
You will handle your SIM cards correctly. You will not put your SIM card on the ground. A SIM card is a weapon. This is my SIM card. There are many like it, but this SIM card is mine.
X. Radio X.
Sorry, did I say earlier we had a rocking mum? I've got a mini mum who rocks. This is just a small section because of pressure of time. So instead, we're going to meet a... For Mum's About to Rock! We salute you! Chris's mum rocks! Chris, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Johnny.
Listen, thank you so much for texting in about your mum, who definitely rocks. This is a real quickie, but it's lovely because it fuses someone who kipped, so she skipped, and a mum who rocks. Tell us about your mum. What's her name, first of all?
Just for clarification, Johnny, it was my mother-in-law. I don't think my
okay.
mum's quite this crazy, but yeah, my mother-in-law...
I told you not to mention that, yeah? Go on.
Yeah. She had shall we say, a psychedelic evening at the Isle of Wight Festival.
What year?
It was the last one that he did, and yeah, she had a big psychedelic night the night before, and she slept straight through Jimi Hendrix's last set at the Isle of Wight.
She missed out on Jimi Hendrix.
Because she rocks too hard!
Yeah.
Yeah, because she partied too hard, she missed the whole thing.
Oh, man. Because he passed away after that. That's his last ever gig, and he came back to London. That was it.
That's it.
Your mother-in-law rocked so hard, she crashed out and missed Jimi Hendrix in the Isle. What's she like now?
Yeah, she's a bit shaky.
What? Still from that experience?
Well, I don't know. That's questionable, but she's a bit shaky.
Does she still rock? I mean, is she good company?
Yeah, she's good fun. Yeah, she's like a 60s fairy still.
She's like a 60s fairy.
Wow.
Are the Rizzlers always a rustling? No, let's not go there. Okay, listen. Oh, she's got a tin. Right.
Radio X. Radio X.
We were asking you about just the things you skipped because you kipped. This is after my award-winning miss of the band at my own premiere, which turns out I just had no idea this film was going to be so popular. I thought it was going to be a really low-key affair, and I sort of missed it. It was really glamorous. It got really glamorous, like Mariah Carey there and stuff.
And also Royal Blood played.
Yeah, I know, Gav. I know. I'm trying to sort of get off that. But I could have got like slightly responsibly drunk and said something stupid to Mariah Carey, and I come back and I can't believe I said that to her.
That's true. Yeah.
Something about like. I can't believe you can sing that high or something.
Yeah, like a kettle going
Go on,
off.
sing high for me. What note is that? Anyway, these are the things you've missed. Go on, Gav.
I've got one here. I kipped, and this is from Matt in Manchester. I kipped and missed Hatton versus Mayweather after paying 15 quid subscription on the TV.
No!
And stayed up till 4 a.m. Then fell asleep just before the start.
It was a great fight. It was the one after as well because Ricky was slightly gypped in that one.
There was some fighting in that fight.
There was a real
which there
fight.
not normally is with with Mayweather.
Mayweather always stopped him fighting because
Right.
Ricky's a proper scrapper.
Yeah.
And
He's a good puncher.
No, he's a very good puncher and he can take a punch. But he also said at the end, he goes, that's one where he says, it's not a tickling contest. Which I thought was fantastic. Anyway, go on, Sunta.
This one is from Greg in Essex, who slept through the Sex Pistols at the Isle of Wight Festival, but when they played in 2008.
Oh,
So,
man, but
yeah.
still.
That's annoying because they
Isle
don't
of
play
Wight.
together that often.
No.
It's that island. It's just because you're there and you think we're not going off and you peak too early, Gav.
It makes you sleepy. I got a good one here. This is from Sarah. I missed out on a night out with Kylie because I decided to have an early night. I was staying at a hotel in Brighton and didn't know she was also staying there. After an afternoon of drinking, we left the hotel bar to go to bed. The receptionist told us the following morning, 5 minutes after we left, Kylie walked into the bar, bought everyone drinks and took them all out clubbing.
No! Oh, I'd love a night out with Kylie. I missed the trip of a lifetime in a helicopter over the Grand Canyon after one too many drinks the night before and waking up late and missing the coach. Loving the show, Johnny. Please read this out. Hi, JK. Also, I was at the Download Festival and ZZ Top bored me so much I fell asleep in the field and completely missed Whitesnake and the start of Def Leppard. Oops, that's Kenty in Doncaster. I like this one. Look, I'll beat your tale of sleeping in for something good, Johnny. I love that.
Yeah.
I'll take your tale of
and
woe
I'll raise
and then.
you one.
Yeah, I'll take that tale of woe and then. Okay, here we go. I'll beat your tale of sleeping in for something good, Johnny. I was going to go on a date with a girl I'd met. The afternoon of the date, she wasn't too sure if she was working that night, but told me she'd call me and let me know. I rested my eyes, only to wake 2 hours later with 44 missed calls from the girl. 44? I know, it's a lot. It's peachy keen, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Keen as mustard. But what's worse is, her final call was a voicemail saying, since she hadn't heard from me, she had decided to go to work that night and couldn't go on a date. And also that she was a stripper. That's Neil Renton. Regrets, Neil? 44 calls from a stripper on his phone.
X. Radio X.
Right, we've got Richard on the phone because it's time for our pet town. Our pet town this week was Lutterworth, and Richard lives there. Richard, are you there?
I am. Hello, Johnny.
All right, Richard, how are you, matey?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Okay, now you've lived in Lutterworth for 5 years.
That's correct, yes.
Where were you before that?
I was in a place called Atherstone, which isn't too far away. It's about sort of 10, 15 miles away from there.
Is that still Leicestershire?
No, it's border Warwickshire. That's why I brought out Warwickshire.
Oh, yeah, border country can get pretty rough there, can't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, troops building up on the Leicestershire-Warwickshire border last night for an invasion. Okay, here we go. You work as a fabric printer. Now, interestingly, tell us about what's in your garden.
I've got a little miniature railway in my garden.
Wow.
Okay, but when you say miniature, how big's the engine in feet?
I mean, yeah,
the loco.
It's not sort of sit on sort of size. It's G-Stealth, so it's like about 20 centimetres off the ground kind of thing, and it runs on steam. It's a steam engine.
I love steam engines. It was my best ever present when I was a kid. And do you know what? Not that it's interesting, but you can't buy them at any shop in Britain anymore. You've got to go online to get a decent steam engine. Or you have to got to go to Germany where they've got a tremendous selection. No, I love a steam engine. It's fantastic. I've never quite got over the fact you can just do that with
steam.
How many carriages have you got for your setup? Take us through it.
Okay, so it's not carriages at the moment. It's set up as a mine train, so it's actually got slate mine carriages.
Nice. I used to have a Mamod steam engine. I don't know if you know the Mamod.
That's what it is.
Is it? You got a Mamod? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, but it's been converted.
Oh, you converted it. You see, what I did with mine, I kept it stationary so it would power all the little tools like the angle grinder and the little things.
Oh, yeah.
And a polisher. So I had a little workbench and I'd run the belts to it so it could do different things.
God, this is rock and roll radio, isn't it?
Sorry.
Wow, I really feel like going bananas now.
I'll tell you what, me and Richard do. Richard, we get high on this stuff. Richard, are you high on steam
right now?
I've
just done my VAT return, so that's how it certainly gets to me.
Wait a second. Are we talking steam just to break up doing a VAT return?
That's it,
rock and roll. Anyone who slags this station off, this is where it lives. Somewhere in a purgatory between steam transportation and VAT. More interesting than a VAT return. As scintillating as steam. Radio X. Okay, here we go. Richard,
yes.
You describe it as a small provincial town in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
Okay.
We've got the M1 next to us.
That's why everyone likes it. It's good access to the M1. Is there a cheat? Is there a cheat nearby? Is there a service station that gives you better access to where you live?
No, there's rumour of a service station being put on the outskirts of town, which is a bit of a scandal going on at the moment. We've got the Watford Gap not too far away.
Yeah, which with all the promise of that one, that's like Vegas down there, isn't it?
Oh,
but I tell you what, you talk about the There's rumours of a service station being built, but I've worked this patch as a journalist. That sort of stuff really divides communities. Some people are going, "No, it's going to be great. We'll be able to go and get like all this stuff," and then people start talking about sort of, like Costa Coffee, and like there could be a Starbucks. There might be a big Smiths there. It's like
McDonald's is the rumour.
Is it?
Yeah, everyone's saying it's McDonald's. The nearest one is Rugby, a few miles away. So yeah.
Has that got the natives excited?
Yeah, I think it probably has, yeah.
The youth. We don't want one of those here.
Somewhere to hang about.
Yeah, just to exactly right. You're exactly right. And youth always looks for that because it means they can move on from the Market Town petrol station.
That's it. Yeah,
where one of the brothers has got a car where they can lean their bikes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, where'd you go bananas in Lutterworth?
Well, there's not too many places, but you've got Coggy's Bar for one.
Coggy's?
I've never been there, but apparently you can take your chips in there from Lutterworth Chippy inside it, I've been told.
Class, that is a classy pub.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
You can bring chips in here.
That's brilliant.
There's a little sign on there, I think it said that.
What does it say? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, bring your chips in from the chippy or whatever, which is great. But,
Yeah, what time does the fight normally start in that pub on a Friday? Does it also say you may bring chips in here? Fight schedules start around 9:30.
No, it never stops in there. I don't think.
Okay, nice. The violence is always bubbling under, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got the Fox as well, which just had a refit.
That's it. It has. Yeah, they put a sign out saying major refit happening. 2 days later, it was open, and we just had some paint done on it.
That major. It's the 2-day major refit. Nice. Well, a very good name for an army officer. Hello there, mate. Hello there, Major.
They do lovely cheese and biscuits in there.
Do they? Nice, good tip if you travel through Lutterworth.
Yeah.
Hello there, Major refit. And of course, you've got the Shambles as well, which is fantastic.
Yes.
As your local celebrity, Emma Willis was rumoured to be moving to the area.
Well, my lovely wife Mary, did pop down the hairdressers the other week, and that was the talk of the town around the hairdressers. So,
Okay. In between debating the hang-around possibilities of that McDonald's. My God.
Yes.
Okay, the big news is that you have got a Costa coffee in the high street. Do you know what? We've ticked all the boxes there. Thank you very much to our Lutterworth correspondent. If anything happens in the news in Lutterworth, can I count on you to be our correspondent, Richard?
I am there, John.
I'm building up a network. Are you going to go bananas tonight? Just say yes.
Yeah, that's on the back turn. Yeah, that's done, yeah.
Okay, definitely go bananas. Cheers, matey.
Radio X. Radio X.
That was the podcast. You enjoy that, Suns?
I loved that.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's much better than actually the show was.
Yes.
Always better than
Did
the
you
show.
think that?
It's very good for advert cowards.
Anyway, tell your friends to subscribe it and download it and just live it. Live the dream.